All right, we are live. Sorry about that. I was a couple minutes late. I was recording a podcast episode with Martin Olette of Temple Blooms, which is going to be a great, going to be a really exciting podcast episode, which I'm going to release very shortly. Anybody who's here and is able to jump in the chat, say hello. I figured today we talk about scary movies or horror movies and Freemasonry. So yeah, let me just see if I can grab the link to one of the things I hope to talk about, which is we've done a few different articles, but one of the articles I was hoping to do or talk about, if I could find it, give me a second. Here it is. I'm going to copy this link. All right, so let's give it a few minutes, see who jumps on, and we'll get talking. I don't see anybody on yet, but doesn't mean people aren't going to start joining us soon enough. So once you join, jump in the chat, say hello, and we'll start talking about Freemasonry and horror movies and all that good stuff. Let me know where you're from, what you want to talk about. Like I said, our goal is to talk about Freemasonry and scary movies because there is a super fun connection between the two. People don't realize how many different connections there are. So thought that would be fun to talk about. But yeah, please jump in the chat, say hello. We're going to wait for a few more people to join. We started late, so I'm hoping people weren't jumping on and jumping off. But yeah, let's give people a few minutes to jump on and say hello. And if you are jumping on for the first time and you ever done one of these before or taken part, please say hello. I'm going to share the screen in 1 second. Here it is. This is what we plan to talk about in a few minutes once we get started. And Courtney, I see you're there. It's okay if you decide not to join Freemasonry. I still appreciate you being here on these podcasts or on these chats. Sean, if you're joining us, please say hello. Jump in the chat. And yeah, take a few minutes, say hello, use the chat to say hello. We're going to get started in a few minutes. I just waiting for a few more people to join. I started a bit late, so I'm hoping people weren't jumping on and off. But yeah, please jump on, say hello, and we'll get started talking in a few. I'm really excited. We got a lot of exciting things coming up in the coming days. I was just at the Boer War Memorial to see our brother Gene Lotz. Hey, Sean Stifler. Hello. How's it going, brother? Thank you for jumping on the chat. Let me know how you're doing. How are things? Have you finally gotten some sleep? Because I know that during the Very, very fun Johnstown Expo. You got, I think, what, an hour of sleep over 2 days, I think, maybe an hour and a half. So, Sean, I hope you got some sleep. Let me know how you're doing. Hi, Cameron. I eventually got on. Growing up, you were always interested in horror movies. I remember scaring you while watching Tommy Knockers. Yes, I remember you scaring me as well. That was in England, actually, um, when I was visiting Grandma Lily. So I remember that as well. Actually, oh, need some Coke. Actually, Sean, tonight I'm taking part in another paranormal investigation. Doing great, brother. I finally caught up on sleep and back in the routine. We miss you down here. I miss you guys. I really love Johnstown. If any Masons are watching this and you haven't had the chance, go check out Johnstown Masonic Temple. It is, I guess it's the Johnstown Masonic Event and Expo space. Um, Beautiful space, beautiful building. Sean is working his butt off making that even more of a success than it already is. So go check it out. It's amazing. Awesome, brother. Hope you have fun. I will for sure. It's actually at the Canadian Transportation Heritage Museum. Let me just see if I can actually switch it for a second and show you that one. Just so you guys can see it, because I wonder if we can even actually show you. Well, I guess I can. All right, give me one sec. I'm going to share the screen. Yeah, and Sean, by the way, I've been talking to some of the people. I'm going to have some of the people from the expo that you had at Johnstown on the Masonic Temple, or I'm sorry, on the Square and Compass podcast to talk about their experiences. But they've all been saying good things, so I think it's clear you did a great job. You and all of your people organizing it. Let's see. So this is where they're doing the paranormal investigation. They've got a whole, outside of the transportation side of it, they have a whole heritage village. It's kind of set up as something from the 1800s, thereabouts. And they have an 1800s paranormal, like 1800s Masonic temple there called Heritage Lodge. It's a really cool spot. I'm going to see if, here it is, I can find a picture of it. I have a picture on my social media, but they may have one here. It's really, really cool. Sean, you are welcome. And thank you for making me feel so welcome. It was a lot of fun. Oh, holy cow. Check this out. I didn't even know this. So this is one of the pictures on the website. That is Heritage Lodge right there. That is, I'm going to screenshot this. So that was used for the website of the Heritage Village. Heritage Lodge, you can just see the exterior, but that's really cool. It's a beautiful building built by a bunch of local Masons. And tonight they're doing a paranormal investigation on the entire grounds, a bunch of ghost hunters. And I'm going to be there to let them into our building and to check it out. So yeah, I think that's really cool. You know, I'm going to try to make it back for sure. I was thinking to try to make it back around Christmas time, actually, when I have a little bit of time away from the tours and stuff. I'd also probably stay at the same Airbnb. I got to give a shout out. There's a really cool dude. He had an Airbnb, and that was a very cool spot. Actually, one of the expo presenters, Wicked Ghost. I can't remember his name, but his company was called Wicked Ghost. He was selling pendulums and stuff. He actually crashed with me. It worked out well, but it was a cool spot. So yeah, I am absolutely open to come back. Johnstown too, beautiful spot. I loved how you can kind of see the mountains all around you. So it was really beautiful to see all the mountains everywhere. Nice, friendly people, right? Small town vibes. Got to also give a shout out to I can't think what it's called. So next to my Airbnb, there was like a diner, really good food and really good jukebox. Okay, Quincy Adams. There we go. Cool dude, really friendly dude, and really cool stuff as well. Wicked Ghost. Let me see if I can share that. I know I was going to talk about horror movies and Freemasonry, but I did want to, these are pretty meandering conversations. See if I can find it. So I think I followed him on Facebook. Here it is. Dun, 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 dun. We're going to share. Oh, nope. We're going to share this tab instead. The Wicked Ghost. If you get the chance, check it out on Facebook. He's on Twitter and stuff as well. Or X or what? I don't know what it's called. X it's called. Cool dude. So let's go back though. Share this tab. We'll give it a few more minutes, see who else shows up. If anybody wants to share this, please go ahead. I think it's really cool that I just found out again here that Heritage Village and the Canadian Transportation Museum, they have they use our Masonic Temple as a backdrop for their wedding photo in their website. Harry, don't burn the candle at both ends. You have some wrestling coming up. I'm burning it at both ends and in the middle because it's so much fun. Sean Stifler, make sure you let us know if you're able to make it back, and we will have to show you more of the town. I would love that. Yeah, I mean, what was your, put in the chat, what is your favorite thing you'd say in Johnstown? Or because that's so broad. Let's do this one. Favorite place to eat. Best place to eat in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. I'll give you a minute. And Dad, speaking of wrestling, I'm very much looking forward to coming back and seeing you and Aunt Bev, I guess, and Uncle Lorne in less than, I was going to say 2 weeks, in like a week, give or take, right? I understand that Aunt Bev is going to take us out for brunch, pick us up at the airport, so that'll be fun, or pick me up at the airport anyways. Sean Stifler, The Haven. I'm not sure where that is, but I will check that out for sure. Next time I'm in town, I'm going to put on my list The Haven. Because, the place I ate at, I'm just out of curiosity. I got a couple minutes. Let's see. Well, it pops up in Google. Pops up on Google pretty quick. Johnstown, PA, the Haven Bar. It is. Let's see where the Masonic Event Expo is. Well, it's 5-hour drive to get there for me, or let's see. Oh, it's like a 20-minute walk. It's so close. All right. So that would be a fun thing to check out for sure. I'm guessing a lot of junior wardens maybe use that for refreshments. Anywhere easy to go to, right? Although you got the Boulevard Grill there too. So let's go back to this tab. Secret Society, horror, and Freemasonry. And Sean, by the way, if you have any favorite examples of Freemasonry in movies, feel free to throw that in the chat. That's good too. So I'm guessing you're saying the Boulevard Grill is good as well. I agree. I mean, I only ever tried while I was there. I wish I got a chance to try more, but I was only there for the weekend. Let's see if I can find it. It was, oh, there it is. It was up past like Daisy Town. It was the Johnstown Inn is where I ate dinner. Really, really good dinner there. So like I was saying, if you, Sean, have any examples of favorite movies or favorite Masonic references in movies or media, it doesn't even have to be horror, even though we're talking about horror. By all means, let me know what they are. It'd be fun to hear if you've got any. I always love learning about pop culture references in scary movies or movies in general or TV shows. You know, every Mason kind of lives and dies by Homer the Great, the famous Stonecutters episode, which is a great episode of The Simpsons, by the way. But yeah, the we talked in this article about secret societies, horror, and Freemasonry. I like this article a lot. So let me know if you guys can see this okay. We'll go to the other one in a second. We're talking about the movie From Hell, which is a movie I love. Great movie. But in this one, this is an interview I did with Steve Hutchinson. He is founder and Tales of Terror founder, which is a really good website and got some different social media pages, including on X, as well as a horror reviewer and an author. So we talk about the interview here, or we talk about his view on Freemasonry, horror movies, and secret societies. In our last interview, we discussed the movie From Hell, which references Freemasonry specifically. However, there are several movies, especially in the horror thriller genre, that focus on secret societies, right, in general, such as The Skulls from 2000. What is it about secret societies that makes them so ubiquitous in the thriller horror genre? He talked about it here. I believe secret societies are often portrayed in horror and thriller genres due to the inherent fear associated with dealing with an organized group of people rather than just an individual. This ranges from enigmatic college initiations like in The Skulls to a subset of cultist films that are referred to as clubbist movies. This category includes films such as The Menu, 2022, Society, 1989, The Witches, 1990-2020, and The Art of Self-Defense, which to a lesser extent revolve around secret societies or clubs. The mysteries surrounding secret society movies lend themselves to procedurals, police, religious, journalists, etc., where something must be gradually learned, ultimately leading to a final confrontation with the leader of secret societies, sometimes involving a supernatural element, hence the secrets. Would you consider secret societies a horror thriller subgenre? Are there enough movies featuring secret societies to make it worthy of being a subgenre? While there are evident correlations between genres and subgenres, I like to keep an open mind and think that a subgenre can mix with any genre. A film about secret societies could be a comedy or romance, but horror and thrillers tackle the topic more seriously. Thrillers concerning secret societies are usually plausible, whereas horror movies about them often possess a supernatural nature. Secret societies should definitely be considered a subgenre, and interestingly, I've never heard anyone bring it up before you did. So there you go. Harry, going to Tova Cafe, which supports the L'Arche Association, which helps people who have a disability, youth with Down syndrome, etc. Really cool. Good for you, Dad. I hope that you have a good time there. Let me know how it goes. I'll be seeing you in about a week. So if you are jumping off to go, I look forward to seeing you in a week, and I love you. Bump in the Night Society. Hey, what's up? Hey, thank you for jumping on. Uh, Let me know how it's going. I'm hoping that you guys managed to catch up on your sleep since we were in Johnstown, because you did a lot of paranormal investigations pretty late at night. Sean Stifler was telling me he caught up on his sleep, so that's good. But thank you for jumping on. We're talking about scary movies or horror movies and Freemasonry. No worries, Sean. Thanks for joining. We appreciate it. Um, and yeah, say hi to everybody for me. Whoops. Sean, I don't know if you saw Bump in the Night Society's here. You guys obviously Bump in the Night Society did 2 paranormal investigations in Johnstown. I got to be there for the second one, which was a blast, and it was a lot of fun. So thank you guys for letting me take part. I'm taking part in a paranormal investigation tonight. Again, I'm not running it. I'm just going to be there to make sure that the Heritage Masonic Lodge is open and available to the paranormal investigators. Bump in the Night Society. No problem. This is Sean. I'm actually at the Connaught Hotel helping with the ghost hunt tonight. Where's the ghost hunt? Or sorry, not. Where's the Connaught Hotel? Is that in Pennsylvania or New York? Or because I feel like Connaught. I think I've heard that before in New York, but I could be wrong. But let me know where that is. And same question to you. It's in Pennsylvania. Okay. Is it around the Pittsburgh area, Philadelphia? Where might it be around? Pennsylvania. Which part of the Pennsylvania? Because Pennsylvania is a big state. I don't think people realize how big Pennsylvania is. At least it feels big to me. Not as big as Texas, but then again, what is? It's like an hour and a half from Pittsburgh. Okay, so I'm hoping that you guys have a successful paranormal investigation. How many investigations have Bump of the Night Society done outside of Pennsylvania? Because maybe, like we were saying, one day we can get you here in Windsor or Detroit. Even I could connect you with some people in Detroit to maybe do a paranormal investigation there. And also, Bump of the Night Society, if you can let us know, or Sean, we're talking about scary movies and Freemasonry. So, do you have any favorite connections or favorite Masonic references in? It doesn't even have to be, but just Masonic connections in media, pop culture, scary movies. Could be. I mean, people love the Simpsons episode Homer the Great, which featured the Stonecutters, right? People loved Dislodge, which was an episode of Psych. Murdoch Mysteries had some Masonic stuff in there. Let me know if you have any favorite connections. And yes, Bump in the Night Society, I agree. It would be awesome to have you guys joining us down here. We'd very much appreciate it and love to have you. Going back to this interview, do you have any favorite Secret Society horror movie? Or do you have a favorite Secret Society horror movie? So this is, again, with Steve Hutchinson. He is a founder of Tales of Terror. He's an author, and he produces a lot of horror-related media. Being an author, book artist, and publisher, I've got a soft spot for The Ninth Gate, a movie revolving around a mysterious and coveted book. I'd also give honorable mentions to Eyes Wide Shut and The Box. It's interesting how often Freemasonry is referenced in movies through symbols without actually being named. For example, in Prisoners, 2003, Jake Gyllenhaal's character wears a Masonic ring. Why do you think these references so often find their way into movies? Is it just a matter of adding a wrinkle to a character? I've personally created characters in horror video games inspired by secret societies. These characters are intriguing with a lot of potential depth and ample room for creative lore. It's enjoyable to take the limited information we have about them and expand upon it. I imagine the same applies to screenwriting. I suspect storytellers would like to utilize the concept of Freemasons for their immense potential, but they might opt to rename the organization and make slight alterations to avoid causing offense or portraying them negatively. All the while, this approach provides them with opportunities to construct a captivating narrative around the organization. This holds true for most themes in screenwriting. Writers create whatever resonates with the audience and satisfies the producers. If we were to depict Freemasons as they truly are, I believe we would see spiritual dramas rather than horror movies. The resulting films would revolve around themes of charity, friendship, and tradition. I'd be curious to witness a horror movie where Freemasons take on the role of protagonists. Who would be the antagonists? That's a good question. Who would be the antagonists? I liked the movie The Skulls. I've only seen parts of it. I've not seen the whole thing yet, and I really want to see the movie at some point. So here's a question. Bump in the Night Society, Dad, anybody else watching? We got a few more people jumping in and out. The question here. I'd be curious to witness a horror movie where the Freemasons take on the role of protagonists. Who would be the antagonists? So, if you guys want to put in the chat, who would be, if Freemasons were the good guys in a scary movie, who would be the antagonist? Who would we be fighting? We could take on zombies, vampires, mummies. Who are leprechauns? What else are some good horror movie creatures? Did I mention vampires? Let's see. Vampires, zombies, werewolves, sorcerers, I don't know, leprechauns. Could we take on Jason or Freddy, one of the big three? Let me know in the chat. Bump of the Night Society, who should the Freemasons fight in a horror movie? Who would we take on? Aliens. Okay. We're going with the aliens. That was an interesting question. I actually wrote that once on a poll. I said, an alien lands on Earth, goes to the local Masonic Temple, Masonic Lodge, and asks to join. Do you give the alien a application to join your lodge? Dad, you're a Mason. What do you think? If an alien showed up at Kilcona Lodge, you're the Tyler. You'd have to let him in or not. And says, I want to join Freemasonry. Do you give the alien a application? Maybe can I put that in the chat? I'm going to write that in the chat so when it comes later. An alien lands on Earth. On Earth. It asks to join a local lodge. Do you give it an application? Harry says Knights of Columbus. All right, so there we go. We're already starting the Knights of Columbus shade, and we're like 28 minutes into this podcast, or this is a live stream. There you go. Bump of the Night Society, what do you think? Let's switch it up. An alien lands on the planet Earth, says, I want to join a paranormal investigation. Do you let the alien join you in your paranormal investigation? And also, if an alien were to do that, I feel like that would bring up some pretty interesting questions about like, does that mean the aliens have ghosts on their planet? Or ghosts universal? That would be kind of fun to talk about. All right, I'm going to switch this off for 1 second to find the next article we wrote, but keep answering those questions. Here it is. This was about my favorite movie. For sure, they would probably be able to communicate with the spirits easily. What makes you think? What makes you think that? I feel like wouldn't they be? Because presumably the ghosts or the spirits that are being investigated would have never seen an alien before. So would they be more um, disconcerted by it? Would they be as likely to communicate with the ghosts or with the aliens, or less so? I mean, they're paranormal, but in a kind of a different way. All right, let's see if I can. All right, sharing this Square and Compass interview with Tales of Terror founder, horror author reviewer Steve Hutchinson. This was about, like I said, my favorite Masonic movie, From Hell. Um, Occasionally, Freemasonry will find itself depicted in pop culture, including within the horror genre. A prime example of Freemasonry being depicted within the horror genre is 2001's From Hell, one of our favorite movies. So this was all about Tales of Terror itself, which you guys should definitely check out. It's a really cool spot. Here he is talking about From Hell. It depends on who the sponsor. Yeah, who would sponsor an alien? That's the first. You got to figure that out as well. Who's sponsoring this alien? Um, though interesting. I also asked a question about a robot. Let's say a person builds a robot. The robot comes to life and is self-aware. Define self-aware as you will. Would you let the robot take part in the robot says, I want to join Freemasonry. Would you give it an application? And Bump in the Night Society, would you let the robot take part in paranormal investigations? Do you think a robot will be good at paranormal investigations? So Steve Hutchinson wrote here, or answered the question, From Hell is my go-to Jack the Ripper adaptation. It's a semi-whodunit that came out in a whodunit era with a gradual reveal way more complicated than movies released at that time. I remember being disappointed by the answers, in quotations, because I was expecting something else, something spoon-fed maybe. But it had a cast and a budget. I appreciate this film more every time I learn something about it. It's probably too layered to grasp entirely in a single viewing. It's a film that ages with me. For the aliens, I just think their advancement in technology and possibly even telepathically, they might be able to tap into something. Yeah, well, certainly they would have had to. They would have had to have been pretty technologically advanced in order to make it to the planet Earth itself, right? To cross however many light years away. Because I think, if I recall correctly, for humans to get to the closest star would take 100,000 years or some crazy long time. So they would have had to have found faster than light speed travel. So they would definitely be advanced technologically. Maybe that would mean that they could do. They would have some advantages in paranormal investigation. Apocalypse Force. Hey, brother, it's Brendan from Johnstown. Thank you, Brendan, for joining us. Great to see you, or great to see your chat. I loved Johnstown. We just had Sean Stifler on. We had Bump in the Night Society on. So yeah, it's good. We got a little reunion of Johnstown, Pennsylvania here, so it's much appreciated. Let me know how it's going. You caught up on sleep again after a very busy but very, very fun weekend. Harry, don't forget AI is catching up with the human brain. It is. I mean, it might surpass us pretty soon. Who knows? Which wouldn't be a bad thing, because humans aren't that smart, in my opinion. So we could use some help. LOL, I'm like 75% caught up. The 75% is not bad. We'll take it. We will take our 75%. By the way, if you get the chance, Apocalypse Force here, if you haven't done so yet, please hit the like button on this one. So That helps more people find it. Also, I'm sure you are, but if you're not, hit the subscribe button. You may already be subscribed. Bump in the Night Society, same thing. Please hit the like button. That helps people find this live stream. We've had people come on and off. So, yeah. And let me know, or Brennan. I always call people by their chat names here. We're talking about Freemasonry in movies and Freemasonry in pop culture. Let me know if you have a favorite depiction of Freemasonry in pop culture. We're talking about the 2001 movie From Hell, one of my favorite movies. Maybe my favorite Masonic movie, or movie featuring Freemasons. We're just asking our interview subject here. As a non-Mason, what did you think of the Masonic references contained within From Hell? Do you think it added to the story or the movie? Right. After revisiting From Hell since my review and watching interviews and documentaries on Freemasonry, I think it's just as powerful a hook as Jack Thorpe himself. If you know about the organization, to spot the clues, including the swearing compasses. If you don't pick up on this, then the antagonist of the film is opulence. It's the elite and possibly the government. There's an elegance to Freemasonry that comes across in the film and adds to its charm. When you've seen what the lodges look like, you recognize the interior design. As a Mason, I always enjoyed seeing Masonic references in movies and films. I even enjoy it when the references are conspiratorial in nature, as I take it all in good fun. Some Masons, though, worry that such references can leave audiences with negative or poor impressions of Freemasonry. When you watch From Hell, and after you finished and visited the same, did it affect your impression of Freemasonry or Masonry? The Masons have managed to uphold their mystery, which makes them interesting antagonists. We fear what we don't understand, and I'm surprised we don't see more Freemasonry in horror movies. The average person doesn't know if it's a religious, spiritual, which is probably a sign that we should change that and maybe get more people noticing us. The average person doesn't know if it's a religious, spiritual, philosophical, ideological, governmental, or sectarian organization, or just a boys' club. There's nothing like it, which is true. There is nothing like it. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that's not such a good thing. But there's definitely nothing like Freemasonry. And that fuels the imagination. We're all someone's antagonist at some point in some horror movie somewhere in time. I would even expand on that. I would say we're all someone's antagonist in life, right? At any given point, we've been at least somebody's villain, at least in my experience. Even when we think we're the hero of the story, more often than not, we can be actually the villain of the story, I've found. Brennan, thank you for sharing this. I really do appreciate it very much. Anybody joining us, please hit the like button so more people can find us. If you aren't already, please hit the subscribe button so you're subscribed. And by all means, keep talking to us. Keep chatting. We'd love to hear more. Bump in the Night Society. I'm sorry if I missed a question. We're at the psychic fair currently for the Connaught Hotel, and I can't. No, I just appreciate you being here. And I hope that the psychic fair is going well. Let me know how it's going. Hey, Cameron. Courtney, thank you for jumping on. Good to see you. Good to talk to you again. Let me know how it's going and how you're doing. Brennan, it's a very unique organization for sure. I'm definitely glad I'm a brother. Yes, me as well. But it is definitely a unique experience and a unique organization as well. So it's unique for sure. By the way, I'm going to throw in here, if you guys do want to check it out, we do have a Patreon account as well. You can join for free. But we do have tiers and members and membership lists and things like that. But yeah, check out our Patreon. It can join completely for free, and it's a super fun thing. And there are some special posts that I post that are just for our members. I'm here with Ken and Sue trying to sell some tickets for tonight's investigation. I wish you the best of luck. I hope that you get to sell a bunch. How many tickets would you say you normally sell for investigations? And also, oof, excuse me, got heartburn. Oof. What do you think about the um like do you find that it's a different experience having paranormal investigations where it's just the Bump in the Night Society team members versus ones that are open to the public? Do you find it kind of it can change the nature of the investigation? Um, Especially because I would assume you have to spend a fair bit of time explaining what's going on to other people, right? So I'm assuming there are some differences between what you experience with a private paranormal versus public. Depends on the size of the location, usually about 20. Okay, that seems like a pretty good turnout. And like I was saying, do you find that that changes the nature of the investigations at all? Does it make it easier, harder? What would you say is the kind of experience that you have with that? Um, we Going back to this while we keep chatting. We were always interested in finding depictions of Freemasonry in pop culture. Sometimes the these depictions are as small as a ring, prisoners, leave extraordinary gentlemen, or as large as in From Hell. Do you know any Masonic depictions of pop culture movies? The more obscure, the better. Same question goes to you guys. Actually, I'm going to even make this easier. Copy and paste this. Um, Steve Hutchinson, I don't know. Eyes Wide Shut and The Ninth Gate are about secret societies, but I don't remember them mentioning Freemasonry. There really aren't that many, and I'd like to see more. All right. I have to ask you about a story, adaptations in your recent book, The Dollar Baby. All that you love will be carried away, which, by the way, is, in my opinion, with the exception of The Colorado Kid, my favorite Stephen King short story. Such a good short story. Everybody should read it. What do you think of the adaptations? With which adaptation would you suggest I begin? Oh, Bump in the Night Society. Outdoor locations are usually big enough that the size doesn't matter. Indoor, it varies. Okay, do you find that when you have when you have, let's say, a large group of people in a smaller space or smaller venue, that can affect the equipment and what it's picking up, or kind of any quote unquote psychic vibrations or psychic readings or phenomenon? And even, I'm assuming most people kind of know to stay quiet, but do you find that you get a lot of well, people sometimes kind of chat in the background, and that will create noise that will interfere with the equipment? Going back to this one again, if you get the chance, I'm going to give it another shout out. All That You Love Will Be Carried Away. Great Stephen King book. I've had the chance to see 7 adaptations of All That You Love Will Be Carried Away. It's a Dollar Baby film, option for adaptation by Stephen King for $1. Those films can't be shown or shared publicly outside of festivals as per Mr. King's terms. One of the reasons I wrote this book is to document and review films no one can legally see. In a way, they are or will become lost films. Most adaptations of this short story are dramas and not quite horror films. All That You Love Will Be Carried Away is about suicide and the thoughts and the process that lead to it. My favorite adaptation is by James Benner. It stars John Bloom, aka Joe Bob Briggs. Oh, I know Joe Bob Briggs. He's a really cool horror dude. As the main protagonist, none of these adaptations are easy to watch, but seeing an idol and a better version of me contemplating suicide at length is difficult. Even in horror, the topic of suicide is usually skimmed or avoided. Lastly, we have to ask you your top 3 horror movies and top 3 franchises. It's hard to pick just a few. My top 3 horror movies are The Shining, Gremlins, and Scream. As for my top 3 horror franchises, Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, and Evil Dead. See, what's interesting about Million Dollar Baby, or Million, geez, All That You Love Will Be Carried Away, is it is about a person contemplating ending their life, but I love the ending of that short story because it ends where I don't want to spoil it, but it ends in a really interesting way and a really cool way for such a kind of a dark subject. The ending, I think, is kind of it's almost strangely beautiful, um, which I know probably sounds kind of weird to say when you're talking about what is a very, very dark subject, but it's got kind of a beautiful ending. So if you get the chance, please check out All That You Love Will Be Carried Away. I'm curious. I'm just going to see if I can find it here. Here it is. I'm going to share this screen so people can see it. By the way, guys, please take a moment still, jump on, say hello, jump in the chat, say hello, subscribe if you can, leave a like, all that good stuff. All That You Love Will Be Carried Away is a short story by Stephen King, originally published in the January 29th, 2001 issue of the New Yorker magazine. In 2002, it was included in King's collection of Everything's Eventual. And it even takes place in a Motel 6, which people may not know this, but whenever I travel to the States, I very often stay in Motel 6s, especially because they're cheap, they're well kept, they're not expensive. My favorite one is the one in North Chicago, or actually Glenview, Illinois, which is a really good location. I stay there all the time and I absolutely love it. So shout out to Motel 6 in Glenview, Illinois on North Milwaukee. Courtney Duffy. Well, my sponsor Jeremy just called and checked in on me, and I'll be moving forward to joining the fraternity. That's great to hear. We wish you the best of luck in your Masonic career and moving forward. And please, by all means, keep us informed. It'd be wonderful to learn how that's going for you. Thank you guys for hitting the like button. That's much appreciated. Question for you, anybody who's just jumped on. If you got the chance to, or an alien lands on planet Earth, says it wants to join a Masonic lodge, do you give that alien an application? Also, anybody watching this, if you're in Windsor and you get the chance, 1054 Whistler Crescent, today till 2 p.m., their Rainbow, International Order of Rainbow for Fort Assembly 26 is having a yard sale. Let me see if I can show you guys this. Oh, support Rainbow Association. They're a great group. A lot of people think Freemasonry is just for men, but actually, we've got a lot of really excellent organizations for everybody. Rainbow Girls is for youth, young girls ages, if I recall correctly, 11 to 21, and there's even younger who can be part of kind of the pre-Rainbow Association kind of pledges. Rainbow Association is another one of those wonderful parts of Freemasonry that I think very often doesn't get enough appreciation from anybody, including doesn't get enough appreciation from the Masons themselves. So if you can support your youth groups and you're a Mason, whether you are supporting Rainbow or Demole or in the States, Joke's Daughters, or whatever it is, please try to do so as much as you can. If you're joining us for the first time, please leave a like, subscribe if you can, and let me know how you guys are doing, what you guys want to talk about. Apocalypse Foreseer, Brandon, let me know how you're doing. Like I was saying, Um, Let me know if you have any favorite examples of Freemasonry as it's depicted in pop culture, any movies or TV shows or books or whatever it is that depict Freemasonry. Right, the famous book is probably Lost Symbol by Dan Brown. Um, so yeah, jump on. Tonight, I'm going to take part in a paranormal investigation at the Canadian Transportation and Heritage Museum. Um, so it'd be great if you guys could take a few minutes, and if I think of any, I will let you know. I appreciate that. Well, let's start with this one then. Do you have any favorite, like, what's your favorite movie, just in general? Um, any favorite movies that you got? Let me know what it might be. Anything you think I should? Any favorite scary movies? Are you going to do the 31 for 31, the horror thing today? Or not just today, but for this month. A lot of people in October, they'll do 31 days of horror. I'm trying to do that. Yesterday, I watched Scream 4, which was a lot of fun. Scream 4, one of the best Scream movies, by the way, um, in my humble opinion. So yeah, we'll give people a few more minutes, see who comes. We had a lot of people jump on and then jump off and then jump back on, which I know people are super busy. Sean had to take off to pick up his wife, but I think he'll be coming back soon. Things kind of cycle through. I just did a interview with Temple Blooms, which is going to be doing some amazing stuff with our Masonic Temple in Windsor. See if I can find them. Here it is. I'm going to share this in just 1 second. I'm not a big horror fan. I would gladly go on a full investigation over that easily. Okay. Well, Brendan, I don't know why, because nobody in my family is, but I am a huge scary movie fan. So I don't necessarily know why it is that I got the horror gene, but nobody else did in my family, but I'm sure there's a reason for it. Here it is, Bloomsbury House Stage Productions at the Masonic Temple Ballroom. Advance tickets available now for Temple Blooms. A fancy fundraiser Saturday night, October 12th, featuring Chrissy Cochran Bitters, Andrew McLeod, Amelia Daigle, and more. So you should see what they've done with it. I don't even want to share this photo because they've done so many more amazing things with it, and they've really advanced it and made it look great. I've shared a lot of this on social media already. I'm going to be sharing more. I did my interview, like I said, which was great. So after several years without a dedicated rehearsal and performance-based, Bloomsbury House Stage Productions are thrilled to announce our association with Windsor's historic Masonic Temple to reopen their famous 1920s neoclassical. I mean, it's always been open, but it's not really been used to the extent that it could or should be. Ballroom as a flexible, modern, climate-controlled, and fully accessible 6,000 square foot performance and gathering venue for our own events and for professional and community rentals of all kinds. BHSP is proud of this new residency and to be entrusted with the temple's storied history. Let's see if I can show some pictures of the current way that it looks. Anybody joining us, thank you for joining us. Please hit the like button, leave something in the chat, say hello, let me know how you guys are doing and what you want to talk about. We were talking about scary movies and Freemasonry, and my personal favorite one being From Hell, starring Johnny Depp, which I do still think is the best depiction of Freemasonry in movies, horror movies or otherwise. A lot of people like Psych because they had a episode called Dislodged, which was pretty heavily based on Freemasonry. Murdoch Mysteries had a great episode. Let me see if... Oh, here it is. You should check out the Valley of Newcastle. They do ghost tours for fundraising. Awesome. I will check them out for sure. Maybe I'll type them into Google in a second. Dennis, long time no see. Yeah, Dennis, I've been super swamped, so I haven't had a chance to do these for a while. But it's nice to be back and doing them again. Dennis, let me know how you're doing and what's been going on. And here is a picture of the space now. They're still doing more to it, but you can see the new lighting that they've added on the stage. So yeah, it's looking great. And thank you so much to Bloomsbury House and Martin Ouellette for all the work that they're doing. I'm hoping to maybe post even as early as tomorrow our interview with them on social media. Funny, I was just talking about you to my brother last night. I hope you were saying good things. I hope your brother's doing well as well. And I hope everybody in your family's doing well. So tell them all to jump on the podcast. It'd be great to have them join us. The more people we get on these podcasts, the better. Apocalypse, Foreseer Brennan, I gotta hop off. Take it easy, brother. Thank you so much. We appreciate you hopping on. So very much appreciated. You're always welcome. I try to do these at least once a week. I don't always succeed, but I hope to do another one soon. Maybe next week when I get back from Winnipeg and back from my Wrestling United, or refereeing, I should say, for Wrestling United. Please, if you're in Winnipeg, check that out. Come say hello. So Dennis, what's been going on? What's new? What do you want to? What type of stuff do you want to chat about? Because I'll stick around for a little while longer. I should at some point today exercise. I haven't done that for a while. And then, like I said, I'm going to do a Masonic or a paranormal investigation at Heritage Masonic Lodge at the Canadian Heritage and Transportation Museum. And also, the question is, are you guys taking part or watching any of the AMC Fear Fest, which is always a fun thing to do during, I mean, not as fun as this. Check out my podcast first or my live streams first, but that is kind of a very fun tradition that we have here as well in North America, I guess, at least. But it's amazing to see how beautiful and how much work Martin Ouellette has done with the Windsor Masonic Temple space and with the ballroom space in particular. It looks absolutely beautiful to see. Harry, time for me to go. I will see you soon. I'll see you in less than a week, I guess. Wednesday. Or no, Thursday. Thursday morning, I'll be flying in. So I fly in, we grab brunch, and then I wrestle. So it'll be a very quick day on Thursday. But then luckily, I have Friday all day to just hang out, and that'll be nice to just rest and relax on that day. Before you go, if you haven't done so, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff. I'm going to watch this Trump rally in just a little while back in Butler, where he got pewed in the ear. Elon Musk is with him today. Well, I'm sure it'll be. I'm sure it will be, if nothing else, a well broadcast rally, especially with him being, like you were saying, back in the same place the last attempt, or where they had the assassination attempt. So I'm sure that we'll knock on wood that Secret Service will be on their job and everything else, and we all hope it goes off without a hitch. Um, the I will say, speaking of Elon Musk, I've been trying my best to post more stuff on. I always call it Twitter/X, including using trying to pay attention to hashtags, all that good stuff. Again, the 31 days of horror thing, because it's October, Halloween's coming up, and Freemasonry has been depicted in all sorts of scary movies, which I love. I love scary movies. I love Freemasonry. So combining those two things in movies like From Hell is something I always appreciate. One of my favorite movies of the last maybe 15 years, 10 years was Scout's Guide to Surviving the Zombie Apocalypse, which I love. It's a great movie. And so I ended up, just for fun, and let's see if I can find it. Did a thing where I went to Chat GPT and I asked it, what would a movie look like if it was um, Freemasons versus zombies, and kind of write a treatment for that. And this is what came up. Oh, am I sharing the screen? There you go. I'm sharing the screen. So if it was zombies versus Masons or Masons versus zombies, the treatment goes: when a secret Masonic ritual to awaken ancient powers goes wrong, the small town of Eldridge, which I think is an H.P. Lovecraft reference, if I remember correctly. So well done, ChatGPT, for making that reference. Small town of Eldridge is overrun by a horde of zombies. The Freemasons must rally their ranks and use their hidden knowledge to combat the undead threat. As chaos erupts, a determined journalist named Sarah discovers her family's ties to the secret society and joins the fight. Together, they uncover a sinister rival faction seeking to exploit the situation. In a race against time, the Freemasons and Sarah must decipher the ancient texts and unite the town to stop the zombie apocalypse before it consumes them all. That's pretty cool. I would watch that movie. So thank you, ChatGPT. Let me know, would you watch this movie? I mentioned before, look at this amazing Masonic building. This is the Johnstown Masonic event center. Absolutely gorgeous looking. Oops. Let me see if I can go back to it. Sorry. I'm going to show you some pictures of the inside of it as well as the outside of it. Just give me 1 second. Just going to pull something up. Give me a minute. All right. So, absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous building. Here's another picture. The Paranormal Expo was what I went to see. Lodge room on the inside, absolutely beautiful. This case had a whole bunch of Masonic memorabilia from the two lodges that still meet there. And this was their York side, basically, their York Temple building, or York Lodge. Look at this one. What an absolutely beautiful town Johnstown is. You can see Johnstown down here, with the hills and the lake and the beautiful green. I really want to go to Johnstown in fall, before winter, because I feel like these trees would be so beautiful in fall. Maybe we're already in fall, but later in fall, when the leaves start to change their colors, maybe I could check them out in, late October, early November type of thing. I had my tarot read because I was there for Paranormal Expo. These are the cards. I got an explanation of them, and I can't really remember all of them. I remember this card here, the 10 swords, represents a battle. Fingers crossed I win that battle. I'm knocking on wood, because I guess the one in the middle represents that you will overall win the battle in the end, which I'm hoping to. Some Elm Street stuff I picked up at the expo, because I love Nightmare on Elm Street, as everybody knows. And so I had to pick up a couple Elm Street memorabilia items. Celebrate every step. Good advice. Really, really good advice. This was taken during a paranormal investigation. I just thought it looked really pretty. This was like a laser grid that they set up, I believe, to catch any spirits that may have passed through it. And this was taken from the roof of the Johnstown Masonic Temple at night. And then just another shot of the beautiful lake and all that. That's beautiful, Cameron. Wonderful. Thanks for sharing. Thank you for being here. And I agree, it is pretty amazing. Here's me with Bigfoot. It's quite terrifying. So I'm glad I made it out alive. There's more of me with Sean Stifler, so that was really fun. This was actually, I got to change this. This is Rededication. Gonna add the N. This was at the Boer War Memorial, which was recently rededicated, and that's one of our brothers, Gene Lotz, speaking at the rededication for the Boer War Memorial. Oh, so this was the oracle I had read about me, or read to me at the Johnstown Expo. Dog has, I guess I got the oracle dog, which is funny because I'm a cat person. I don't know where my cat is right now. I would show her to you if she popped up, but I'll let you guys read this if you want. I don't know if this is true or not, but this is what apparently is true of me based on my oracle. Dennis, you know Nightmare on Elm Street is based on a real person. I don't think so, Dennis. To my understanding, so Freddy Krueger was based on a few different things. Excuse me. It was based on, first, some stories that Wes Craven had read in the LA Times, I believe it was, about children who were telling their parents that they could not go to sleep, that if they went to sleep, they would die. The parents did not believe them, obviously, and then basically, I think, made their kids sleep or gave them sleeping medication or something to that effect, and then the kids ended up passing away. They were immigrants to America. And then there was also, when Wes Craven was a kid, he looked out of his bedroom window and he saw kind of a creepy guy in a hat walking by his house. And I guess the creepy guy looked up and kind of made a face at Wes Craven, and it scared him. So he always remembered that. And he had the hat on. And then also the name, I think the name Krueger came from Krug, which was in the name of the villain in Last House on the Left. And I think Fred was Wes Craven's childhood bully. So I think I could be mistaken on some of that stuff. Well, I'm not sure, but we'll see. Like I said, I've seen all those special features and read the book on it. Actually, I think I've got the book on it. Hold on just 1 second. I'm going to be right back, because I think I've got the book. You can still hear me, that Wes Craven wrote. Oh. I actually do have it, but it's at the Windsor Masonic Temple. So, but I can talk. Wes Craven wrote a book, as did Robert England. Um, and they're both supposed to, I haven't read the Robert England one yet, but it's on my list of books I would like to read. So I'm hoping to check it out pretty soon. By the way, Dennis, if you want, I put it on there before, but you can check out my Patreon page. You can join for free. You don't have to pay anything to be a member. But sometimes I post content on there that's just for Patreon members. So it's a really fun opportunity. You get a chance to see things you wouldn't maybe be able to see otherwise. I'll leave it on here again. I was saying in a couple hours, I'm excited because I'm going to get the chance to check out a paranormal investigation at Heritage Masonic Village, or at Canadian Transportation Museum and Heritage Village, which has a replica of an 18th century Masonic lodge. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Any chance to check out paranormal investigations, I'm always really excited to do so, because I love that stuff. I love anything spooky, anything scary. I'm a big nerd. Dennis, let me know because I feel like you like scary movies the same way I do, based on what you've said. Let me know, of the big three, do you have a favorite movie, favorite scary movie, or just favorite movie? And are you watching any horror movies for Halloween season? Oof. Excuse me, I just got some heartburn. Anybody else jumping in the chat for the first time? Take a minute, say hello, join us in the chat, leave a like, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. We were discussing Freemasonry in horror movies, but I mentioned on here I was just in the Johnstown Masonic Temple, and which is beautiful, beautiful spot, beautiful building. They had a supernatural expo, and during the expo, I had my oracle read, and what you're seeing on the screen is the oracle I got: dog, reliability, friendship, devotion, protection. Dog has been a companion to humankind throughout history, which is the ultimate demonstration of reliability. Time and time again, mythology portrays dog as brave, powerful, and ever vigilant, creating the ultimate friendship for humans. It is believed that dogs have a mystical ability which allows for extreme devotion to its master in this life and the next. As a guiding companion, is always focused on the protection of and love for its human family. There you go. That's a nice oracle to get. I haven't seen it since I was a kid, but I liked Puppet Master. Actually, you know what's really cool, Dennis, is I'm a big fan of Red Letter Media. And let's see, they just did a review, I think it is, of the Puppet Master movies. Here it is. Can I? Oh, that's the ad. Shoot, I want to see if I can get the actual thumbnail. Here it is. Here's the thumbnail. If you guys can see it. No, it's playing. Well, if you get the chance, check out Red Letter Media. Check out their most recent video, which is a review of the Puppet Master series. Because there is so many of them. How many Puppet Masters are there altogether? I'm just genuinely curious now. Let's see. Let's go to Wikipedia and check this. Puppet Master film series. The series consists, I got to share this screen. The series consists of 15 films, 11 mainline, one crossover film, a reboot, and 2 spin-off films. My good heavens, that seems like a lot. I want to just see the Puppet Master 1989, Puppet Master 2 1990, Puppet Master 3 1991, 93, 94, 98, 99, 2003, 2004, 2000. This franchise, that's pretty impressive. The fact that it has been able to go on that long, giving it credit. I was thinking 6, like 6 as in the number of movies, or 6 as in your favorite. Because I'll be honest, and I feel really bad about this. I love horror movies, and Puppet Master is the one that I've never seen any of them before, which I feel like really affects my horror movie bona fides. After the 90s, I don't think I've seen any. It is going strong. Let me see. I'm just checking Tubi because that is my go-to. Okay, so 6 total. My good heavens. Tubi has all of them. Well, I guess we know I'm spending my night tonight before I get back from the paranormal investigation. That's going to be my next 31 days of horror. So congratulations, Dennis. You've convinced me to watch the Puppet Master film series. I'll be you, me, and 2 other people. Because I don't have, if I don't get any work done, it's because I'm busy watching 12 horror movies in a row or 15 Puppet Masters in a row. So that should be fun. Well, if I'm going to do this though, Dennis, I feel like you have to do it with me. You and me together, all right? Well, we could both watch Puppet Master, and then the next time we do a live stream, which will be on next week, I believe, you can jump on. We can talk about it, and we can compare our favorites. I still think because I can't believe I've never seen any of them. Just gonna see if my friend Nicholas can maybe jump on. Courtney, hope you're doing well still. Let me know, Courtney Duffy. Have you seen any of the Puppet Master horror movies? They also have a puppet. There you go. Look at how quick that answer came. They also have a Puppet Master series based on true events. What would those events be? That's interesting because the Puppet Master, from what I understand, is about puppets that came to life. Which, if that is a true event, there's a lot of very interesting stories, I'm sure, connected to it at that point. I would hope so. I've always said, and I'll say it again, my favorite horror movie is today, especially because it's a sunny day, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. My thing I always say is my 2 favorite movies, not just horror, not just Nightmare on Elm Street, but just my 2 favorite movies of all time, Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and Nightmare on Elm Street 5. And when it's a sunny day, my favorite movie is Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. And when it's a rainy day, my favorite movie is Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5. So today, it's a beautiful day outside. My favorite movie is Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. But maybe Puppet Master has something something I'll enjoy. We'll find out. We're gonna find out, Dennis. I'm also curious. I can't imagine, but I'm gonna Google search this because you never know what pops up. Freemasonry in Puppet Master movies. Oh my gosh. Okay, so See, this is why I love doing Google searches like this, because you never know what you're going to find out. So let's switch it, and we're going to share this screen. Maybe. Nope. There it is. Freemasons and the movies. Did you know that these famous films were shot at Freemasons Hall? That's in England, by the way. London, particularly. It's a place I want to go. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Sherlock Holmes. Spectre. Look at this. Muppets Most Wanted, 2014. Some of the most famous faces to be filmed at Freemasons Hall are made of felt, thread, and feathers. The Muppets. During filming for the musical comedy caper, Freemasons Hall was turned into Spanish art gallery, Museo del Prado. In these scenes, shot in the vestibules, interposed investigating art theft carried out by Kermit the Frog's doppelganger. Huh, that's really cool. There's a lot that have actually been filmed in Canada at the Scottish Rite Cathedral or Scottish Rite Consistory. The Good Witch, one of my favorite TV shows, was filmed there. Crimson, I can't think of it now. Crimson Peak was filmed there. Murdoch Mysteries was filmed there. So that's pretty I think that's pretty cool. I kind of want to sooner rather than later check out Crimson Peak again because I watched it ages ago. But we've also had Muppets in the Masonic building, so that's pretty fun. The 355, an all-female ensemble movie. So anybody who says that Freemasonry is anti-women is nonsense. For a lot of different reasons, not just that. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I like that movie, actually. That was a funny movie. Green Zone, 2010. So those are just some of the movies that have been filmed, but apparently none of the Puppet Master movies have anything to do with Freemasonry, unfortunately, or don't feature it at all. Thought that would be kind of cool. 1959, The House on Haunted Hill. Yes. Good choice, Courtney Duffy. I support that 100%. I completely agree. House on Haunted Hill, 1959, is a great movie, as was the remake in what I don't even know when 2000 and something or other 2000 and oh my gosh, this is going to drive me crazy now. 2002. 1999. Which was a great movie. Puppet Master is based on an Egyptian spell. Okay, well, I'm going to be watching it tonight because I feel very much like I missed out on that element of horror movies. So, interestingly enough, I actually did in my podcast. Let's see if I can find it now. Let's go to YouTube. All right, let's see. Dun, dun, dun. Square and Compass Promotions Egypt. It was with the Vintage Egyptologist, and it was really fun. Here it is, Dr. Colleen Darnell. I wonder. I'm going to share this for a few minutes. It's mine, right? So I shouldn't get. Oops. I shouldn't myself get whatever you want to call it copyrighted on this. So I'm going to share this screen. Um, all right, and let's see if I'm going to play this for a couple minutes because I love ancient Egypt. Freemasonry and ancient Egypt have very strong connections. Every Freemason, in my opinion, should have a historical understanding of stonemasonry, especially from ancient Egypt, moving on to the modern guild or modern-ish guilds, the Middle Age guilds, I should say. Um, so yeah, let me just give it a quick. I'll play this for a couple minutes. Just going to pause there for a second. Courtney, you asked who would I say is the best wrestler in the world right now? Full time active. So many wrestlers who are injured or working lighter schedules. Like my favorite wrestler of all time is John Cena, and he is coming back in 2025 for his final year, but he's not wrestling right now. I think right now my favorite would probably be, oh my gosh, you know what, Josh Alexander, because he doesn't get near the appreciation he deserves for being such an amazing wrestler with TNA, and he's going to be with Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. He's a champ and he's amazing. So I'm going to go with Josh Alexander. He needs to get, I think, more eyeballs on him. No worries. Dennis, what did it say there? Elias Ashmole, 17th century. Samuel McDonough, 19th century. Aleister Crowley, 20th century. Freemasons that explored Egyptian mysticism. Yes, I agree. I don't know actually anything about Elias Ashmole. I know Samuel McDonough, I know Crowley, but I don't know Ashmole. Let me know more about him. Courtney Duffy, Roman Reigns. Hard not to argue. He probably is the GOAT. He's up there for sure. He's an amazing wrestler. One of the best, one of the best ever to do it. If you look at just the time frame he's held the belt for, he's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Dennis, no. I can always see what you type and I try to get back. Let me know if you can hear things, if you're able to hear me talking, or not just me talking, but if you're able to hear the if you're able to hear Dr. Colleen Darnell as she was speaking. Let me know if you can't hear her, if the sound is coming through well. Dennis, we're all learning as we go, me as well as everybody else, believe me. I've got a lot to learn. The video, not one word. All right, let me know. I'm going to hit it again. Let me know if it works this time. All right, Dennis, can you hear it right now? Huh, I'm not sure why. Courtney, are you able to hear it at all? Let me know. Because I'm not sure why it wouldn't be coming through, because it's coming through on my end. But again, that doesn't mean that I necessarily know what I'm doing. Huh. Well, then maybe I'll stop playing this for a little bit, unless we can use the what I'm trying to think, the closed captioning. But I'm going to try something, Dennis. I promise I'm not going anywhere. I'm just curious as to why it's not coming through for you. I'm going to see if it's coming through on my phone. Give me 1 second. All right. I'm not sure why it's not working. It's being kind of weird. So I'm going to leave it. Eventually, we're going to figure out how to make this work. I'm sure it's just a matter of me not knowing what I'm doing with this for some reason. I'm going to hit stop sharing. If I can figure it out, I will let you guys know what it is and why it is I can't seem to get it to work. Maybe I'll try something else out of curiosity, see if that works better. But in that case, if you get the chance, here's what I'll do. I will go and I'll see if I can find. Let me see. Here you go. Here's the link to it, anyways. Well, thank you, Dennis, for reading a little bit of it. Yeah, she does really cool stuff. Let me see if I can find one of her articles on there. Vintage. I can find it now. We'll share. Here is her YouTube page for Vintage Egyptologist. Said she does a lot of cool stuff. And every Mason, in my opinion, should know something about Freemasonry, about ancient Egypt, ancient Egyptian stonemasonry work in particular, and stonemasonry, because it depends how you want to define it, right? You could argue that stonemasonry, building things from stone, you could argue that started with Stonehenge. Depending how you want to define it, right? You could argue that started with the first time, our ancestors took one piece of stone and hit another piece of stone against it to create a weapon. But I think you could maybe argue that Stonehenge and things of that nature constitute the first examples of stonemasonry, the idea of building things from a stone, versus ancient Egypt, which to me is more likely the first example of quote unquote stonemasonry, or really in an organized way trying to build things out of stone. Stonehenge dates to, I'm just curious to see the differences. Stonehenge was first built around 3100 BC. And let's see. I'm curious. I'm going to type in Egyptian pyramids here to see actually which came first. The earliest known Egyptian pyramids are found at the Saqqara northwest of Memphis, although at least one step-like pyramid structure has been found at Saqqara dating to the first dynasty, 3808. So actually, the first pyramids, Dennis, the chicken or the egg, that's very, very true. Cleopatra, I read a little bit about her. Yeah, Cleopatra, interesting. People don't know this. Cleopatra was not actually Egyptian. I don't know if people realize that. She lived in Egypt, but she was Greek. She was a descendant of Ptolemy, who was one of Alexander the Great's generals. When Alexander the Great, he had a whole bunch of generals underneath him who, along with Alexander the Great, of course, fought his battles. And when Alexander the Great passed away, all of his generals took different parts of his empire to rule. And I used to know the names of his generals. I don't. The only one I remember is his general Ptolemy took over Egypt, which Alexander the Great had conquered in like 333 BC. And then Cleopatra was actually descended from Ptolemy. So she was actually Greek, but nonetheless, she fell in love with Egypt so much so that she kind of adopted it as her home and adopted Egyptian customs and dress and all the rest of it. And she herself kind of became famous as an Egyptian. And then obviously her with Julius Caesar, her with Mark Antony, killing herself with a snake when it looked like she would be taken captured by Octavian, later Augustus. All that stuff's kind of cool. So the earliest. Ancient Egypt. Every Mason should know about ancient Egypt because, in my opinion, it represents the first example of stone masonry in an organized way. It even predates Stonehenge by looks like a few hundred years. Big Bend National Park. I do want to check out Big Bend National Park because I've heard Texas has a lot of national parks. One thing I've also been curious about, I'm going to check this out as well. The comparison of ancient Egyptian pyramids to South American pyramids and Aztec pyramids, and do those outdate each other? South American pyramids. I don't think so. I think they came much, much later. All right. Let's see. Mesoamerican pyramids. Mesoamerican pyramids, I'm going to, because this is an example of stonemasonry that I feel like Freemasons need to learn more about and need to care more about, in my humble opinion. So I'm going to stop sharing what we've got so far. And I'm going to switch it over to, let's see if I can share this one. Or maybe not. India has the most amazing temples. If I could go anywhere in the world, I've seen some pictures and I got some friends from India, and I have no doubt they are absolutely beautiful based on what I've seen and heard. So it is on my list of places I'd like to check out too. Mesoamerican pyramids form a prominent part of ancient Mesoamerican architecture. Although similar in some ways to Egyptian pyramids, these New World structures have flat tops and stairs ascending their faces, more similar to ancient Mesopotamian ziggurats. I don't know what that even means. The largest pyramid in the world by volume is the Great Pyramid of Cholula in the east central Mexican state of Puebla. I did not know that. So I always assumed that the largest pyramid in the world would be actually in Egypt, but I guess it's in Mexico. It's in Mexico. The Maya are people of southern Mexico and northern Central America. Um, I'm just curious to get if I can find the date that these were built. Because well, it had to be later than Egypt, obviously, because if the Mayan culture was, well, so the Aztecs, 14th, 15th, the 16th century. So Maya was from 1000 BC to 3000 years ago. So they were around 1000 years ago. Yeah. So these came later, but still, it's a great example of Freemasonry and, or it's a great example of masonry and stonemasonry. And I think sometimes Freemasons, we focus a lot on ancient Egypt and Egyptian stonemasonry, which we should because it's incredible. But we shouldn't forget that there's a lot of examples of stonemasonry in the New World, in North America and South America, that is just as impressive and maybe doesn't always get the love it deserves. Courtney Duffy. Masonic homes in California provided for those retired. Yes, I concur. It is really cool. What's also really cool is, oh, Jeff, how's it going? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. It's always great to have brothers coming in from Texas, if I recall correctly. Thank you so much, Jeff, for joining us. Yeah, and actually, Jeff, can we mention this? Masonic Homes in California is amazing. The coolest Masonic retirement community I've seen was in Arlington, Texas. The Texas Masonic Retirement Community, TMRC. It's absolutely amazing. It's amazing. I think it is such a Masonic treasure that it's a shame, I think, in some ways, it doesn't get as much attention from Freemasonry as it deserves because it's so impressive and the work done there is so amazing. And giving, in some cases, people who would have nowhere to go but would be on the street, giving them an actual place to live and an actual home, not just for Masons, but for Mason families, for their wives, widows, and their kids. So, Jeff, thank you so much, though, for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Let me know if you have any thoughts about what I was saying. I think for Freemasons and Freemasonry, we focus a lot, and I think, rightly so in a lot of ways, on ancient Egypt and Egyptian stonemasonry, but we sometimes forget that there's a lot of examples of stonemasonry that are equivalent in impressiveness to ancient Egypt, including Central South America pyramids, which is another amazing example of stonemasonry, and deserves maybe some more love from us Freemasons sometimes. No Mason Left Behind is our internal charity program as part of the TMRC. Yes, it is, and it is, in my opinion, a really great example of what Masons can do for our members' families, and also the community. Because I think people forget, like, if a Mason is in a state where he is retired or his widow is retired or family, and they're in a situation where they can't afford to maintain their home or maintain their shelter, if they have nowhere to go, that's going to become an issue for the community, because then the community has to deal with it, and try to find housing and support them. And if they have medical issues, where do they go to deal with those? And then they don't have insurance. How does the hospital deal with it? And all of that. And so having a place that's, so well kept, so clean, so so concerned with the health and well-being, and has the resources to take care of these Masons, and not just take care of them, but actually, like, help them as much as they can, even those suffering from dementia or different diseases, right? To do all those things, it shows that we care about the community and we care about our members and our members' families. So I know I'm talking about it a lot, but I 100% champion the Texas Masonic retirement community, because I think it's absolutely deserving of being championed. I might as well, just for fun, I'll see if I can let's see. And it's got a actual Masonic lodge, which is really cool, right in the building. And I know that they do have Masonic meetings there fairly regularly. They also have Eastern Star, York Rite. They have a museum in there. Owner Grand Royal Arch of Chapter of Texas, not. Oh, okay. Owner Grand. I did not know that. I knew that they had Royal Arch meetings there. That's really cool. Yeah, we got here the. I guess that makes sense, because I'm just looking at the website now. Texas Masonic Retirement Community of the Grand Royal Arch of Texas. So I guess then what I would say is it shows how great Masonic Freemasons are, but also how great the Grand Royal Arch of Texas is for all of their work, and protecting our members and their members and families. I was actually at Family Day last year, and it was a blast. It was so much fun. I went to Family Day at Texas Masonic Retirement Community during the eclipse, And so I get there, and I didn't know at the time it was an eclipse, and they're handing out eclipse glasses. So I got to see the eclipse while I was out there. I got to talk to a lot of amazing Masons, Brother Soap, Stanley Omar Amos Payne, and it was great to hang out with him and meet him in person. And I got some cool pins and stuff because he's on the merch committee. So yeah, I wonder if I show up in any of the pictures. Let's see. Kind of curious. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, photo gallery 2023. Let's see if anybody spots a wheelchair. I remember the car show thinking how cool that was. Nope. That's all right, though. Lodge plus RA chapter plus AMD council. Allied Masonic degrees, I'm assuming. So yeah, thank you so much to Texas, to Royal Arch chapters and council. So yeah, that's my little spiel about Texas Masonic Retirement Community. Check it out. If you're visiting Texas, go to Arlington. If you're a Mason, you'll see something really cool, something worth supporting. Jeff Scott Bennett soap with 4 exclamation points, I think, or 3 exclamation points behind it. Yes, Brother Soap, Stanley Omar Amos Payne. Really cool dude. Really liked him. Chill guy. Does great work on the merchandise committee. Hopefully he I should send him. I don't know if I ever actually sent him information about these live chats, but I should, because it'd be great to have him join us. He's a really cool guy. I don't know the next time I'm going to make it back to Texas, but I want to. I would like to, especially for no other reason than for the barbecue cook-off competition. Who wins it normally, Jeff? Do you enter into it, or do you know any? Does Brother Soap enter into it? And if you do enter into it, how you've done last year? Did you win? I would say one of the best parts about visiting Texas is the food. You guys can cook. I will give you that. You guys can cook probably. Yeah, I'm trying to think. My favorite places for food. Probably, I'm sorry, just checking. Probably, I mean, the South is always really good food. So anywhere in the South, but Texas, you guys got great barbecue. And also, I remember one of the better meals I ever had Masonically was I went to a celebration of a lodge's 100th anniversary. And I did interview Brother Soap on the podcast. Let me see if I can find the. Find it, and I'll put a link into the video, and you can check it out. Just make sure to leave a like and comment, and if you're watching this, please I gotta track this thing down. Leave a like on this as well. Oops, let's see. I think I might have messed that up. There it is. Let's see. Stanley Omar Amos Payne. That his interview there. I just put it on. Let me actually here. Let me see. Maybe I'll share the thumbnail with you. There is our brother Stanley Omar Amos Payne. Check that out. Leave a like, comment on it by all means. Also, leave a like on this if you haven't done so yet. The more likes we get, the more people see it. It's all about that engagement, as they say. Cool. Thanks for reminding me about soap episode. Yeah, it was fun. We talked about, like I said, we talked about primarily his role on the merchandise committee, and also how merchandise and merchandising can help a Grand Lodge um, reach the public and reach more people. Because it's very easy to get distracted, or I'm trying to think what the word is. It's very easy for a Grand Lodge to maybe not focus on those things, which I think is unfortunate. Um, because merchandising, pins, pens, people love that stuff. People love swag like that, and I think it can really help a Grand Lodge and even a lodge stand out. Here in Brownwood, Texas, we have the best barbecue. Um, what's the best barbecue place in Brownwood, Texas, if you had to guess? Or not guess, but because you live there. So, in your opinion, Courtney, what is the best barbecue place in Brownwood, Texas? Give a shout out for it. Jeff Scott Bennett, not sure which lodge wins barbecue contest. Okay, so that's an interesting question. Is the barbecue contest done lodge by lodge, or is it like individual, or is it even a junior warden? You know what idea I always had, Jeff, and let me know what you think of this. I always thought it'd be really cool if the junior wardens all got together and created a cookbook with all of their favorite recipes. And what the junior wardens could do is create a cookbook in Texas, like a Texas junior warden cookbook featuring all their favorite barbecue recipes to feed a hungry group of Masons. I think that would be a lot of fun. So yeah. And then, but if it is lodge by lodge, do the junior wardens, like, who's responsible for preparing the food? Is it just whatever the best cook in the lodge, or does the junior warden have to do it? Or let me know how that would work, because I'd be really curious as to how that would go. Grand Lodge merchandise sales usually $1 million per year. So, I mean, and that's a really good point as well. I was talking about it from the public relations, the PR standpoint, which is really important. But also, yeah, there's a lot of revenues to be made through merchandising sales that can really help a Grand Lodge with charitable endeavors, Masonic endeavors, both. Right, you can be charitable and Masonic, and keeping upkeep of the buildings and expenses related to that. So that's all really special as well. Um, Jeff, I don't know if you saw earlier. I'm not sure when you jumped on exactly, but we had a couple interesting poll questions. Let me know if you haven't, if you want to answer them. The one question we asked was: imagine if an alien landed on the planet Earth, and the first thing the alien says is, "I want to join a Masonic temple or Masonic lodge," and the alien shows up at your doorstep. Do you give the alien a application? And the other question was, scientist creates a robot. That robot becomes self-aware, and the robot says, "I want to join a Masonic lodge." And the robot, however it does, maybe it walks, maybe it's got wheels, or whatever it is, or maybe it just sends you an email and says, "I'm a robot. I want to join the Masonic lodge." Do you send the robot an application? For the record, I said yes to both, but Let me know what you think. And anybody else watching this, if you're a Mason, let me know what you think. If you're not a Mason, but maybe you do have some questions, let me know. Would you be friends with the alien? Would you be friends with the robot? How would you treat this new being? For the record, because this is being cast out online, I will say I would support and be friends with the robot because I don't want the robot to find out I might not be friends with it and come back and get me. I have to run errands with my wife. No worries at all, Courtney. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support on Patreon. I'm still working on getting some more of those models, but once I have them, I promise I'll send one to you very soon. But thank you so much. Jeff Scott Bennett is the alien. Well, let's see. That's super interesting because you're the first person to ask that particular question. Um, so I find that fascinating because no one else has asked about the religious beliefs of the alien. The most common questions I've got is the alien male or female? And in the case of the robot, it's how could the robot be male if it's a robot, right? And it would have no sex or gender to it. My answer to those is always been in both of those cases, the alien is of such a species that you couldn't classify it as male or female, and the robot, again, you couldn't classify it as male or female, except to say that the robot was created by a male scientist. So you can take that for whatever it's worth. Um, so, in terms of beliefs in religious and supreme beings, we're going to say that for the robot, it does believe in a supreme being, but that supreme being is the scientist who created it. That is the robot's creator. Is in its mind, the human that created it and built it represents a supreme being because it was his creator, or it was the robot's creator, I should say. In the case of the alien, we're going to say that the alien does not believe in a supreme being. It believes in material determinism, meaning that in its mind, it believes in a supreme being, but it not a like a conscious observer, if that makes sense. So it believes in a supreme being the same way Einstein believed in a supreme being, which is the supreme being is the order and mathematical certainty of the universe. And our ability to understand that supreme being is based on our ability to create equations that accurately reflect or predict what will happen in the universe, if that made any sense. So let me know for both the alien and the robot what you would say about that. We're just going to hang out for a few minutes. We're going to wait to see what Jeff thinks about the answers I gave as to the robot and the alien. And if it wants to add anybody else wants to jump on, say hello. We have some people come and go, which has been wonderful. It's always wonderful whenever anybody joins. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new. And yeah. Anybody else jumping on, please take a moment, say hello, jump in the chat, let me know what you want to talk about, what's going on in your life. If you're a Mason, by all means, let me know the lodge you're from. Are you part of any other Masonic degrees, et cetera, or Masonic bodies? Let me know if you watch the Square and Compass podcast and what you want to talk about. We were talking earlier about Freemasonry and scary movies, or Freemasonry and movies in general, which was a lot of fun. Now we switched it over. We're talking more about fun questions about what it means to be a Mason and how to join. We've also had a lot of brothers join us from Pennsylvania, from Texas, from Manitoba. We've had some friends of mine join. We talked about paranormal investigations a bit, which was a lot of fun as well. So I hope that you guys will stick around and keep hanging out. We'll give this a bit more time. We've had a lot of fun. We're talking about Brother Soap and his time on the podcast, episode 156, in fact. So I think that's pretty cool. All right. We're also talking about, and I think this is kind of an important thing, Freemasonry, right? It dates its origins, or it dates its I can't think of the word now. It derives itself from stonemasons, and the earliest examples of stonemasonry that we usually talk about in Freemasonry are Egyptian pyramids, ancient Egypt. But I think sometimes in doing so, we forget about all of the other um, types of stonemasonry that exist. That is also incredibly impressive. I was thinking particularly about the South American, Mexico and South American pyramids, and Aztec and Mayan pyramids, as well as Celtic stonework, the Druids, Stonehenge, all of those type of things. All of which, I think Stonehenge was about equivalent to ancient Egyptian pyramids in South America. Aztec and Mayan pyramids, they date much later. Mayans came around 1000 BC, but it was 13th, 14th, and 15th century, I think it was, primarily for the Aztec civilization. I did not know this. The largest pyramid in the world, though, stone pyramid, is actually not located in Egypt like I thought it was. By volume, it's located in Mexico, in North and Central America would be. So, maybe we should, when we're talking about stonemasonry, I know we tend to focus on the European guilds, King Solomon's Temple as well, and all of that, but maybe it's worth giving a little bit of love and appreciation to our stonemason brethren in other parts of the world and other time periods. Look at some of these, right? It's absolutely amazing work, the Maya pyramids right here. Easter Island, another example of Western Hemisphere stonemasonry. Yes, I agree with that 100%. Easter Island is another great example of Western Hemisphere stonemasonry. So probably worth giving a little bit more love to those guys, Not obviously in ritual. Ritual kind of is what it is, and it can't nor should it be changed, but maybe we could have Masonic education about this type of stonemasonry. Get some speakers in to talk about the Maya pyramids, the Aztec pyramids. I think it might be a lot of fun to do so. Jeff, I don't know if you heard my answers to your questions about the alien and the robot. I don't know if you have any thoughts on my answers, but if you do, let me know. And then again, Stonehenge. which is obviously it's in Europe. Um, so you know, closer to Egypt, closer to the African continent, but again, not. It's Europe. It's much more west. In England, but again, this is another example of stonemasonry that maybe doesn't get the love from Freemasons that it could or that it deserves. And the work it would have taken to create this thing is pretty amazing. Um, and it kind of dates around the same time as it's a little bit later than the earliest Egyptian pyramids, but not by, but still, relatively speaking, it's kind of um, contemporary. So I think that's cool. And again, education is one of those things that I think sometimes we in Freemasonry we kind of get a very narrow focus of, and we'll focus on education as being kind of just about Freemasonry, just about Masonic history, and we don't think about all the ways we can expand that to focus on a lot of different things and a lot of other things. I was just saying you might be interested in this. Jeff, I was just in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and if you look at my Instagram, you'll see, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, please do so. They're absolutely gorgeous Johnstown Masonic Temple. Really, it's the Johnstown Masonic Event and Conference Center. Absolutely gorgeous. Built in the 1930s. It was started in the 30s. The Depression kind of extended the building of it by a fair bit, but there it is there. It's absolutely gorgeous. I had the chance recently, and this is, Jeff, I don't know if you've ever seen this one. This is the Detroit Masonic Temple. Again, absolutely stunning Masonic building and a really important part of our Masonic history. So I hope that one day, if you get to my neck of the woods in Windsor, you should check it out. I hope that you will. Kind of fun to go through these sometimes. Caesar's Windsor, very beautiful spot. Armories in Windsor. Did you know that over 100 years ago, the Windsor Armory hosted the Grand Lodge of Canada, the Province of Ontario's annual communication? Hopefully in the future, annual communication will return to Essex County. I did. I think maybe you missed. I think you might have missed it. So, yeah. So, is the alien a deist? Does the robot have beliefs in a supreme being? Those are the two things I saw. My answers were, but I didn't. So I saw those questions, but I didn't see your answers on them. I'm not sure why it's not coming up on the chat. Try to put it in the chat again. See if it pops up. I'll wait for a minute. If it's not working, I'm wondering if I know it should. I don't see anything that would say that the chat. Unless YouTube's being funny about something. But throw your answers in again. I saw the questions, which were, is the alien a deist? And my answer was, the alien believes in a supreme being in the same manner as Einstein, which is the alien doesn't believe in a conscious supreme being that like judges and observes us or created us, but the alien does believe in a supreme being in the sense that a supreme being is another word for the order of the universe, and the way you understand that order is through equations and math that are both accurately that can accurately predict what will happen So, if you throw that accurately describe the world and predict future events. And the robot does believe in supreme being, but the robot believes the supreme being is the scientist, the scientist that created it. If that makes any sense. So to the robot, yes, there's a supreme being, but the supreme being is a human being. In particular, it's whichever human being the scientist actually created the robot and created the intelligence there. So with that, I don't know if you have any further answers on that one. Excuse me, as my voice cracks on that one, and what you think it would be. And you can see here we're sharing the screen. Did you know that 100 years ago, the Windsor Armory hosted the Grand Lodge of Canada in the province of Ontario? That over 100 years ago, the Windsor Armory hosted the Grand Lodge of Canada in the province of Ontario's annual communication. Hopefully in the future, the annual communication will return to Essex County. Here is Essex or Heritage Lodge. I will be back there today for a paranormal investigation, which I can't wait to take part in. Here is Glenview Masonic Temple. I got to go to Northwest Masonic Lodge for a wonderful meeting in first degree. That place is a Masonic home away from home. I absolutely love it there. It's a beautiful, beautiful temple. Great people. Just thought this was beautiful looking. Thought this was really pretty. I was reading this at the Glenview Public Library, Unreasonable Hospitality. Every Mason, in my opinion, should take a few minutes to read this book because it's so incredible and can really provide a lot of insights for Freemasons. The Grove in Glenview, a beautiful, beautiful spot. I love it here. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Amazing time last night with Oriental Lodge at the beautiful Jefferson Masonic Temple. One thing I loved is after the meeting, we all went out to a bar, Rex Tavern, and the brethren talked about how much they love Chicago. Freemasons should care about and support their communities, and that was on full display last night. I 100% agree with that. So I hope that you guys will do so as well. Support your communities. It's really, really important. Amazing time last night with Oriental Lodge at the beautiful Jefferson Masonic Temple. Amazing spot, amazing temple. Really like that coin too. It's a pretty one. Rex Tavern. One thing I loved is after the meeting, we all went out to a bar, Rex Tavern, and the brethren talked about how much they love Chicago. Freemasons should care about and support their communities, and that was on full display last night. I got to go to Pequod's Pizza while I was in Glenview and in Chicago. I couldn't live with myself if, while reading Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara, I didn't try one of Cousin Richie's favorite dishes, authentic Pequod's deep dish. If you know, you know. Hashtag the bear, hashtag Pequod's, hashtag Unreasonable Hospitality. If you haven't watched it yet, you really should watch The Bear because it's an amazing show. We've had an amazing time with the Grand Lodge live streams. Particularly, we enjoyed researching the most recent time, 1931, so almost 100 years ago. Our Grand Lodge annual communication was held in Essex County, then Erie. Check out these clippings from our research and the Windsor Star. Hopefully, the Grand Lodge's annual communication will return to Essex County soon. What if I can make this big? I tagged the Windsor Star. This was a full page welcoming Freemasonry to Essex County to Windsor. Watching the Paralympics. I'm in a movie. If you guys can see, I am in this corner over here. I can kind of move my cursor around it. That's me. That's not me. It looks a little bit like me, but this is me. going to Amherstburg for what was going to be an amazing Masonic meeting. And it was third degree, first meeting back. It was a lot of fun. Looks like, Jeff, for some reason, I'm not getting your answers on the alien and intelligent design. Maybe if you can send me a message on Facebook, maybe I'll be able to see them there and answer. Because I'm not sure why the answers aren't coming up. I'm going to send you, as I mush mouth over here, send you a quick message on Facebook. Let's see. I'm going to keep sharing some of my stuff on social media, on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please do so. Oh. Jeff Bennett sent a photo. Huh. Yeah, for some reason, I didn't get that one. I got absolutely thank you. And then I got Easter Island, another example, but the one in the middle. Okay, well, I got it though, Jeff. Thank you. Would the alien be willing to put his trust in that intelligent design, cosmological force out there to be able to make an agreement contract with the Masonic group? Would the alien be willing to and able to put his trust in that intelligent design, cosmological force out there to be able to make an agreement contract with a Masonic group? I I'm going to say no. No, because he wouldn't believe that I'm going to stop sharing for a second. How would I put this? The alien wouldn't believe that the equations and the equations that accurately describe and predict the world, the alien wouldn't believe that those would have any force to either make the alien comply with an agreement or punish the alien for not complying with the agreement. They would be kind of completely indifferent to. They would be completely indifferent, if that makes any sense, to whatever the alien is doing. But that's a really good question, right? And I think in a lot of ways, that's kind of the key for this idea of believing in a supreme being. It's because that way it's imprinting something on your heart. then I would not be inclined to allow the alien membership in a Masonic group, as we currently require basic items from our members. Okay, so that takes the alien one. What about the robot? And again, going back to what I said, the robot does believe in a supreme being, but that supreme being is the scientist that created it. So its supreme being is the creator, which is the human being that built it in the laboratory or wherever it might be. The human, so it's not a deity in the way we would understand it. It's a human being. So let me know what you think about that one. We'll give it a few minutes for you to answer. Well, I'm going to eat some chips because I'm hungry. For both the alien and the robot, I would be more interested in bringing a separate branch of Freemasonry to them that would. Well, that's interesting because so for the robot, so for the alien, it's obvious that I mean the alien can't really make a contract with a supreme being as understood when it's taking an oath. But for the robot, is it because the supreme being that the robot believes in is not supernatural, quote unquote, right? Or doesn't believe in anything above the human that created it. And then what would that separate branch of Freemasonry look like? Because it might get pretty popular, right? Depending how many, if you start to develop more and more robots or more and more aliens come down to Earth, it might get quite the rush to join. Dispersed light. Would that be the name of the the separate branch? There's kind of a neat. I like the sound of it. There's kind of a definitely got a Masonic ring to it, or so it sounds like. Um, Although the other way would be true as well, which would be really interesting, right? If the alien were to come down, and let's say he were to end up joining, or the alien were to end up joining, would the alien then travel back to his or its home planet and bring Freemasonry there with it? Correct. Robot believes in another human, not supernatural entity. Although then you get into sorts of questions about, who created the human, and would the robot believe that there's something above the human, or does the fact that the human being has the capacity to create intelligence and basically create life for lack of a better term, does that in and of itself kind of, I don't know, beg the question, and maybe would encourage the robot to rethink about some of these things? Or, I mean, who knows, but it's fun to kind of think of this stuff, right? um, I always really enjoy, I think, taking the time to ask these kind of questions. I think my hope is with it, and I try to do this with the podcast, it can help kind of recreate or not recreate, invigorate Masonic conversations, right? Because it can't always just be what did um what did Albert Peg mean, or what is the most important part of morals and dogma, or what is the proper way to carry a wand, right? I think sometimes you got to kind of examine these other topics because they can provide a lot of really, really interesting um, new ways to think about the craft, hopefully. By the way, I got over 5,000 downloads on Podbean, which I'm very, very happy about. Let me actually see if you don't check me out on the Scoring Compass podcast on Podbean, I hope that you will, because we have a lot of really fun things there. A lot of our older episodes are on Podbean, and I'm working to bring in some new ones, hopefully soon, back onto that platform. Oops, let me just seeing if I finally got my badge for 5,000 downloads. See, I'm at 5,004. Well, maybe I'll get it soon, but still over 5,000, which I'm very happy about. I shall share this screen so you guys can see it. 1,004 all-time downloads. So thank you so much to everybody who has been involved in supporting us on Podbean. It is much, much appreciated. Anybody else wants to jump in the chat, by all means. We still got a bit of time. There's no rush. Let me know if you're joining us, where you're from, what you want to talk about. If you're a Mason, what your lodge is. Any of your favorite things for this Halloween, favorite horror movies, that would be awesome. I love learning more about people's favorite horror movies. I think I'm going to be watching Puppet Master tonight because that popped up as a movie that is being suggested to me, or a franchise that's been suggested to me. And as somebody who loves scary movies and has not seen any of the Puppet Masters, I feel like I am messing up. So I got to watch more of those. Let me know if you guys have any answers to the questions of, would you allow an alien or a robot to petition to join a Masonic lodge? I think that'd be kind of fun. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that and your views on that. Any ideas that you guys have, or anything else. Let's say an octopus becomes self-aware, because a lot of people would say, well, it has to be a man to join. Although that brings in all, what is a woman? What is a man? All those questions that people are making a lot of money on now, making videos on. One thing I'm just looking at now is my Facebook and all the different things we got on here for fun stuff to talk about. One thing I always try to do, and by the way, nobody's watching this really, or very few people, but to anybody watching this, and let me know if you agree with this, one thing I miss so much, so much, is the Facebook map where you'd go on it and everywhere that you had tagged as a location, it would show up on this map of the world. I used to love looking at that and seeing all the places I'd been and also all the places I was looking forward to going. I love I don't know, it's one of my little traits or weird things about me, maybe. I love whenever I visit anywhere, I love being able to tag it on Facebook. I think it's so cool to have a record of like wherever you were. The more specific, the better. Like I enjoy if I'm flying somewhere and I can tag the airport as a location, that's great. But if I can tag the actual gate I'm leaving from, I don't know why, but I love doing stuff like that. But but whenever I do try to travel somewhere that I've been before, I always hope to try to add a new place on the map. So if I'm traveling to a Masonic event in Chicago or Masonic meeting in Glenview, I'll always try to hit up a new spot there and leave it tagged on Facebook. Most recently, I was back in Glenview where I'm visiting all the time, and I tried coffee at the Glenview Grind, which is a really cool coffee spot, and I tagged that. So that's a little thing, but it's something I love to do. And I especially love to do that when it comes to Masonic temples and Masonic buildings. I absolutely love tagging new Masonic buildings on Facebook, or for me, like Masonic buildings that are new to me, I've never visited before. I love tagging them on Facebook, showing them some love, because I hope that encourages other people to visit them, especially if they have public events, which I think, the more public events you have for your building, the better. But like I was saying, excuse me, guys. Sorry about coughing. If I could find it. Right here's my Facebook, and then actually we'll search. I'll just do it this way. See what all pops up. There it is, fall pumpkin spice latte at Glenview Grind. So this time, when I most recently visited, this was my new spot to check out. Before that, I checked out some very old and very historical graveyards, which had a lot of Masonic brothers buried there. At my last visit. So sometimes there's something traditional I'll post. Sometimes there's something, I posted about being at the Glenview Public Library a bunch because it's a great place to go and hang out and read while you're waiting for your train. Glenview Masonic Temple, I've posted some version of this shot a million times, both in summer or both at night and at day, in summer and in winter. Whether it's night and it's lit up or during the day, I love to post it or take a picture of it. This is something I wrote just because of my love of Glenview, including the Glenview Masonic Temple. This is me with Gerald Carlton. This is me back at the Masonic Temple in Glenview, which I've said before I consider a second home, and I do. Grove in Glenview, Illinois. Tous les Jus, what a delicious. This is like one of my favorite bakeries in the whole world. And last time I was here, I took the time to buy some macaroons and deliver them to the Masonic Lodge. I was having a meeting. As I say, being a Freemason, especially a traveling Freemason, which it's kind of redundant. I think every Mason should be a traveling Freemason. Means supporting the businesses and people in local communities. Yesterday, before visiting Glenview Masonic Temple, I purchased a box of macaroons from the amazing Tous les Jus, one of my favorite places in one of my favorite towns, which is both of those points are 100% true. Tous les Jus is one of my favorite places, and Glenview is one of my favorite towns. And I got to go to visit one of my favorite Masonic temples, so that's kind of fun. It was 3 of my favorites. By the way, their best macaroons, if you're going to Tous les Jus, is their coffee macaroons. That's so good. Back at the Glenview Masonic Temple. Oh, Glenview turned 125 years old on June 20th, and I discussed it as being a created home, and here was a deer in Glenview. Let me see if I can play this, even though the sound's not coming through for some reason, which is annoying. But let's see. Maybe it'll share in a second. Hold on just one sec. I see what. Sorry about that. Let me try that again. That didn't quite work the way I wanted it to. All right. Hold on one second. Oh, okay. We're going to share this tab. There we go. And this is a deer from the Grove in Glenview, Illinois. The Grove is a really cool spot. Happy birthday, Glenview, again, 125 years. Got my suit cleaned before going to see my brothers in Glenview Masonic Temple. I think that was for a meeting at Morton Grove Lodge, to be honest, if I recall. Glenview Dairy Bar, classic spot, and I love it there. The feeling of missing summer before you left. This is when I was going from Glenview to Ann Arbor, from Glenview Metro Station. Glenview United Lodge at the Glenview Masonic Temple. Best lunch in Glenview equals Grandpa's Place, which is true. I'm surprised I didn't tag that. I'm going to have to tag that at some point. Back at Glenview Masonic Temple. Every time I visit, I post that or some version of that. Oh, this was, they have a really cool thing where you can take pictures at different times of the year and send them into this one spot, and it will record it and kind of track how the nature looks different times of the year. So it's a way to keep track of the changing of natural habitats over, I'm assuming, both short-term and long-term times. So they have those kind of set up at different parts of the Grove grounds where it's like a stand. You put your phone on the stand, orient it the same way every time, take a picture, send the picture by email to an email address, and then eventually you'll see it kind of throughout the year. Right Worship Brother Carlton painting different paintings is a fundraiser for Rainbow Girls. I picked mine up. I've got it actually at the Masonic Temple right now. Grandpa's Place again. Glenview Public Library. New friend, another deer at the Grove. Lake Glenview. I was just back there and it was absolutely gorgeous. This is me in Memorial Day last year. The bear, the famous bear in front of or just right next to the Glenview Public Library and across from the dairy bar and the metro station. This is me checking out Order of Eastern Star at the Glenview Masonic Temple. I remember this was in 2022. Geez, time flies. I was there. I did this interview and the internet wasn't working in my hotel, even though I always stay at the Motel 6 and love it. So I had to go and do this outside in front of like a burger place. But it worked out well and it was a pretty fun interview. And then you'll see, I remember mentioned it before, but why not share it? Motel 6. Excuse me. Whenever I travel, I always stay at the Motel 6 in Glenview. I do. This is a picture of it. They've always treated me really well, and it's a great home away from home. And I even write about it in here. Oh, I got to check this out. Some old thing I recorded. But yeah, wonder what else I can find. Well, let's try. Lake Glenview. (2013). So I've been going there for a long time. I think the earliest I went there was 2011, I think it was. Just curious. Let's see what we got. Here's my most recent one. The last time I visited the Grove, actually, I didn't get a chance to take pictures, unfortunately. Or I didn't get a chance to go. I was in Glenview, but I didn't get the chance to visit the Grove, which I normally would love to. So I felt kind of bad about that. But next time, which I hope will be pretty soon, actually. I want to see if I can find the very first time I was there. This is actually a cemetery in Windsor called Grove Cemetery or Grove Graveyard. Let's try, because I'm curious, Chicago. See if anything pops up there. Hyatt Regency O'Hare. This is a beautiful view I got during a after party at a horror convention, Flashback Horror Weekend, which is a really cool horror convention. Yes, Chicago 100% deserves its best in USA ranking. I love this town. It absolutely deserves to be. It's funny because I think this is a picture of San Francisco, but the best cities in the US 2024 Reader's Choice Awards, #1 went to Chicago, and it absolutely deserves it. Let me see here. Might as well click on that for a second. I'm going to pull down. Once this loads up, I'll switch and we'll check out why Chicago is the best in the world or best city in the USA or whatever the ranking was again. Best cities in the US. Control F. Let me share this tab. It absolutely deserves it. It's no wonder Chicago is topping this list again, a world-class destination known for its impressive architecture, which it has, first-rate museums, which has brilliant chefs, which it has, and massive brewing scene. It'll take several repeat visits to get through your list of must-dos. It has for me, and I'm still not even through my list. My current list, one of the things on there is Visit Ever, which is a restaurant been featured on The Bear, my favorite TV show. In The Bear, they had a story arc where it was closing down. I'm happy to say it's not closing down. It's still there because I want to go eat there one day, even though it's expensive. I'm sure the food's amazing. Most people start downtown from the Magnificent Mile to the ritzy Gold Coast to funky Old Town. But there are 77 neighborhoods to explore where you'll find cutting-edge restaurants, chilled-out corner bars, find anywhere. I agree. So, yes, I say Chicago deserves its number one of Best in USA spot because it's so incredible. We've had some people jumping on and off. If you want to take a moment, jump in the chat, say hello. In the meantime, leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I would really appreciate it. We're here talking about our favorite things. I was talking about Freemason. Chicago is so amazing. A lot of great Masonic history in Chicago. Biggest. Let me get this right. Tallest Masonic building in the world was in Chicago many years. Now it is the Nederlander Theater and Cambria Hotel. But it's supposed to go back to being Masonic temple again. Or I'm sorry, it's the new Masonic Temple is at Jefferson. That's one of them. Jefferson Transit Stop, which is a beautiful place, and I love it. The old former Masonic Temple in the Loop is now, like I said, Nederlander Theater, Cambria Hotel, and Tetrazzino Plays. And I really want to talk to somebody at the Cambria Hotel and see if there's any way I could tour the building and see any old Masonic touches that might still be there. That's kind of my goal because I think it would be so amazing to see. Oh, no, Cambria Hotel, Chicago is in the theater district, like I was saying. Whew, it is not cheap. But I'm sure it's worth it. I'm sure it's an incredible spot. I mean, it looks absolutely beautiful. Wonder if there's any images I can see of it. I'm just out of curiosity. Yeah, it's 220 USD in case anybody's curious. Images, let's see those. I'm wondering if there were any Masonic like touches still there, how would they look? Let me share the screen for a few more minutes. I think I'm going to go on for another 5 minutes. I do still have to, in theory, work out. We've got a new torture device downstairs in our gym, which is you definitely feel it when you're going, but it's worth it when you're done. Let's see. Wondering. We've had some new people jump on. I really appreciate it. Like I said, just jump on, say hello. I'd love to keep talking to you guys. All right. Let's see. Cambria Hotel, Chicago Loop Theater District. Images. Let's share this screen. Let's see if we can track down anything Masonic. Share. You guys see anything that looks Masonic? Put it in the chat. I mean, it's going to be hard to tell kind of what is, because I'm sure it's gone through so many restorations and renovations, and obviously a hotel, you're not necessarily going to keep any Masonic features, but except for the facade does have the square compasses still on it, which I think is so cool. Up here is where the square compasses are still on the facade. I wonder actually if you can see them. It looks like maybe you might be able to see them on some of these images here. They're a little bit higher up. So these are taken back when it was still the Oriental, before it was the before it changed to the Nederlander Theater next to it. They do look like really beautiful rooms. I love the map of Chicago in the background there. Oh, and this is not in the loop, that's in the mile. All right. So I don't see anything there, but it's still pretty cool. All right, we'll give it a couple more minutes. If anybody else is jumping on, say hello. Let me know if you want to talk about anything. Otherwise, we may be jumping off of this pretty soon. Give me a chance to work out before I end up having to head to Heritage Village. All right, we'll give it 2 more minutes. You guys are jumping on. Say hello. Let me know what's going on and what you guys want to do. Anybody else jumping on? Please take a moment, say hello, say how you're doing in the chat. I'm going to keep this going for a couple more minutes, just see if anybody else joins in the chat. Otherwise, we may be ending this stream for tonight, and we'll come back on next week. My hope is to do another live stream next week on Sunday. Let me know if you guys are still here. If anything you want to talk about, like I said, I'll give this another 5 minutes, see if anybody jumps on the chat about Freemasonry. Otherwise, it's been a great session so far today. Great live chat. I think we might end it shortly. I got my Frito chips. All right, I believe we're probably going to finish off this stream. I do plan to stream more next week. I do have another episode, which I'll likely release on Sunday. So I hope you guys will take a few minutes or take the hour, about an hour episode talking about Temple Blooms, which is going to be a great episode talking about what is happening with the Windsor Masonic Temple, which we're really excited about. And with that, guys, thank you so much for jumping in this stream. I really appreciate it, and have a great day and enjoy your weekend.